What up, Brass? It's a freezing cold morning here in Texas. I say morning, it's like lunchtime. It's like 50-something degrees. Oh, I hate it. It's so cold. But I had this video I wanted to make because another YouTuber, Modonacity, I think some of y'all know who he is. Anyway, Modonacity made a video talking about how the 600cc class is being discontinued to two different motorcycle brands, being the R6 and the CBR 600. So both those bikes are gone as of, you know, well, I don't know when the CBR discontinued, but I know Yamaha just did it now, this year. So 2021, no R6 for the streets, for the filthy streets. Anyway, so he was doing a video talking about how the 1000 could be the potential, like, step up to get a super bike, which from, like, say, like a 300 he mentioned. I'd say that's like the best person to get a 1000.
There's people who maybe are on a 300 or something else and they want a sport bike, and so now instead of getting that 600 they're buying a liter bike. But I think those people are the right ones, and we get more out of riding a liter bike on the streets than someone that was looking at a 600 hoping to start on it.
And being the argument being that it does have power modes and it can go slower, and they do have power modes. I rode a CBR 1000 RR and I put it in the lowest power mode, and that thing felt way slower than this bike. But I don't agree with that. I think it's a bad idea on so many levels. Yeah, so he brings out the point that the first time he got his what was that, SV 650 Suzuki, he took it on the highway first day and went 70 miles an hour, and woo, that's fast. And yeah, I'll agree, 70 miles an hour first time on the bike. I've taken a friend that couldn't ride, that was learning how to ride, and anyway, first time he got on the highway, dude, we were doing like 55 and keeping cars away from him and everything. But that's not every first rider. The day I got my Gixxer 750, that was my first bike, the GSXR 750 2014. I went 175. So Modonacity went 70 his first day. I went 175. I started on a much bigger bike, which I don't recommend to anybody, but I did. The only time I recommend you should start on the 600cc motorcycle is if you have dirt bike experience. So if you're if you've ridden like a 450, because you're gonna get more low and umph, hi doggy, out of a 450 in the dirt, or you know, even if you drive on the street for a second, than you are 600 until a certain speed. Then the 600 is going to come blowing past you. But the point is that you learn to respect the flick of that throttle, because that throttle will yank you right out from underneath that bike if you're not careful. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Modonacity, the way he talks is that he naturally assumes that everybody is gonna do what he did. Which just isn't the case. There's different levels of riders. And for the most part, if you're a kid and you want to buy a 600, you don't buy it to go slow. You don't buy a 1000 to go slow. Modonacity is a rare exception of a rider that follows the rules and is like real putt-putty, and he doesn't push his bikes at all. Anyway, let's see, I had some points. I had sticky notes. Where are they at? That's sticky notes stuff. Letter. What's the next one? Yeah. No one buys a super sport to go slow. So assuming some guy with a 300 is like, yeah, I'm gonna get a super sport. What am I gonna get? Oh, I'm gonna go buy, since there is no 600s anymore, I'm gonna go buy a 1000. And yeah, I'm gonna put it in the slow power mode and it'll be great. You know how long that'll last on a normal person? Not very long. They're gonna turn on full blast because they think they gotta figure it out. They're gonna lay into it in an area that they shouldn't be laying into it, and then they're gonna go smash right in the back of something, because they don't. You can't learn to respect speed without gradually getting something that's faster, if that makes sense. You're not gonna respect the 1000's top speed of, you know, 180 something if you haven't like got a 600 or something that goes 160, 150 something. And then you got your 650s and your FZ07s and stuff to go like 120 something. It's like this gradual up. And like I said, you cannot assume that most riders aren't going to want to push their motorcycles. That most riders are Motornosity, because they're not. I don't know anybody that watches Motornosity because he's an absolute monster on the streets. They watch him because he makes really good high quality videos and has really cool bikes. That's why I watch him. So yeah, I didn't buy a 636 to go slow. Besides today, because I'm trying to have a conversation with y'all. Yeah, no one buys. I mean, there might be a few. There might be a few people in the world, sure, that have a Ninja 300. They're like, well, I want a 1000. And they buy a 1000, and they're probably in their 30s or 40s, and they putt around on it, same as they did the 300. Only difference is when they need to get on the highway, they can actually give it a little gas, and they might hit 100 every now and then. But needless to say, most kids on a 300 haul some serious dick. And then whenever they get something bigger, they're going to do the same thing. And it's just a better idea if you gradually get things that are faster instead of just going straight to the king of the speed. Like, yeah, you just don't do that. So yeah, no one buys super sports to go, whoa, my other point! Oh, listen! No! Oh no! I'm not very good at this. Anyway, oh, it's so freaking cold! Point I'm trying to make is, ooh, scary. You can't assume that all riders are going to be tamed on a 1000. I think the 600cc class is very important. Also, that it's a stunning class. You're not going to see too many stunners on a 1000. I think I've seen one in real life on the filthy streets, which is where most stunners are. They're not in a parking lot. They're out on them streets, boy, with me! Woo! Dip. Dip. Dip again. The one thing he said that I agree with is that the 1000, putting it by the trash where it belongs, the 1000 is it is a luxurious bike. It is better to ride. The 600s are normally more aggressive, and the 1000s are a little bit lean back. Just barely, but they are. And when it comes to power input and everything, they're smoother because they got a lot more torque. And then this thing, it only gets to kick in when the RPMs go way up. So yeah, it's a smoother ride, but it still doesn't make up for the fact that it's a 1000. When the power kicks in, that thing is gonna get. And if you're not a rider that is a keen, if you're used to on a Ninja 200, 300, even 400, that ain't nothing to a 1000. That's a joke. I didn't know, those bikes ain't nothing to this bike in the first 2 gears. First 2 gears I got any of those bikes topped out. You got on a 1000, it's a totally different ball game. It's extremely powerful and extremely quick. Stuff will come up on you so fast, and I know because some of y'all know I've ridden a lot of 1000. I've gone very fast. And it's cold out here and I gotta warm up my hands. And another thing I agree with is that yes, if I agree that small bikes are fun. I had so much fun riding around on Maxie's Grom when we went Grom riding, which you'll have to check out that video whenever he uploads it. Yeah, I had so much fun riding the little Groms. The Groms are so much fun. It makes you laugh. Like everywhere you go, you get the drag race with them, and it doesn't even look like you're doing anything illegal, but you got them things pinned out, and it's just a lot of fun. As for the 600s and stuff, it's fun, but to push this bike the way you need to push it, you're going really quick, and it's not normally a good idea to do that anywhere except for open highways. And you know, it's still illegal, blah blah blah. But as for Grum, you can be pinning it in town, it don't matter. It's not going anywhere. Oh man, so that's fun. But once again, nobody's gonna be like, yeah, I really want a 600cc motorbike, but then Motonosity say Groms are funner, and then you're gonna be like, oh well, I'm gonna buy a Grom. You're gonna get on a Grom and be like, this thing isn't fast. You want speed. A lot of people want speed, and that's okay. It's just not okay to get a 300 and then go to a 1000 when you're only wanting speed, because you cannot handle the speed. Yeah, so what he ends up saying, just to summarize this video, is that it feels like someone that's trying to get a starter bike and starts on a 600 isn't better off as someone starting on like a slower bike, a 300, 400, 250, and then getting a 1000, and that's wrong. You're wrong, Motonosity, you're wrong. That's not right. It's not gonna work that way, because you're assuming that people buy 1000s to be chill like you, and that most don't. I'm not gonna buy a 1000 to be chill. I'm gonna buy a 1000 to ring that thing out. And when you ring it out for longer than 20-30 seconds, that thing's going fast, and you're going fast for a long time and a long ways. Oh man, and someone on a Ninja 400, 300 is not going to have the rider capability to keep up with that 1000. Look at this view, bros. So yeah, there is CCs and upgrades for a reason. There's the Ruckuses and Groms. There's a 250, 350, or 300, 400. Then there's the 650s and 700s. Then there's the 600s, and also 700 being the MT-09 or MT-07. That's like the only 700. Oh, there might be another one that's kind of geared like that, but there's also some inline 4 700s, but I'm not talking about those. I'm basically just talking about the FC-07 when I say 700. And then there's the 600s and 1000s. 600 and 1000s are in their own class. 700s and 650s own class. 400s to 250s own class, and the Rex Grub's own class. And depending on what kind of person you are, if you want to go fast and that's what you're just dying to do, just save us all some grief of seeing you splattered on the highway. Start on something small. Mature up to a 600, and then mature up to a 1000. Because no one can tell you what to do. We could suggest what you should do, but I'm definitely not going to suggest. If you're buying if you want a Super Sport, which most people want a Super Sport, want to go fast, then please, I'm begging you, don't go from a 300 to a 1000. Go to the 600. Not even, I wouldn't even say that. Well, yeah, I would, because that's just a lot of money to be buying like all these different steps of bikes. But you can jump from a 300 to a 600 to a 1000. You don't have to go, you know, 50cc to 300 to FZ07 to you know, R6 to R1. You don't have to do that. You can just jump 3. But yeah, that's the summary. Don't buy a 1000. Also, they're like, other than the Motonosities in the world, they're a very impractical bike to ride around as a daily, or not necessarily daily, but like as a putt-putt bike. They're just not putt-putt bikes. Most of the older 1000s, especially the older R1s, you can't even ride those things in town. They overheat. They have a really nasty roll-off from 0 to 15. It's like 0 to 15. It doesn't want to go anything slower than that. It's just like, and then it's all like that. I know, because I've read plenty of those. Me and Riley both. And then the 600s, not so much. They're just kind of smooth off the line, chill. They're better to learn on for handling the speed, because they're smaller, lighter, stop a little bit faster due to the weight versus the 1000s. Unless you buy like the brand new ones, which are $25,000. I just had to do that for a second. Unless you do all that, I'm on a gravel road if you can't tell. Unless you, I don't even lost my train of thought. All I heard was red line in my head. Gotta love it. Dang. Anyway, yeah. I really can't remember what other points I had. It's just really short. It's just what I keep reiterating. You don't want a super sport unless you want to go fast. There's a very rare person that doesn't want to just go fast when they get a super sport. So if you're one of those people, you should take baby steps to that. Not just go 300, 1,000. The end. That's it. That's my final time I'm going to say that. I'm not going to say it 100 more times. And red line. I'm probably shredding that tire. Alright, Briz, I'm gonna go home because it's cold and I'm out in the middle of nowhere driving gravel roads. Alright, later, Briz. Also, he did reiterate, real quick, he did reiterate saying not to get a 1,000. But he said it in a way. He did say, at the end of the video, he was saying, don't get a 1,000, get something smaller, blah, blah, blah. But regardless, he freaking said, if you're someone on a 300 looking to get a bigger bike, blah, 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 1,000, depending on blah, blah, blah. You can't say that. No. You can't go from a 300 to a 1,000. I don't care what kind of rider you are. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, if you're in it to go fast, then that's a bad idea.